I hired these people, paid them all this money.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had someone who was trying to make like a website, so they hired someone from India, and the person over there just it was just grammatical errors, like the links didn't work, the SEO was not even working.
Yeah.
They were just copy pasted from like a competitor's site that they just Googled.
Yeah. So that you want to make that a blog post. Okay. So you can tell a story, but you can also do a more of a disconnected version of it. So there's a lot of people out there that have hired companies because they were cheap, and this is the result they got. Here's one problem, here's another problem, here's another problem, here's another problem. Does that sound like you? Then this is what you need to do. Now, in blog posts, just as a little caveat, in blog posts, you generally do not want to be trying to sell. If you do try to sell, you sell the idea and not your services. And what I always like to use, if I get close to selling, what I like to do is say, even if you don't buy from me, buy this from somebody. Buy this service from somebody. Because what that does is it puts me in more of a trusted advisor role, hands off. Hey, look, I'm not trying to sell you anything. You need to do this. You should eat food. Eating food is good because if you don't eat food, you die. You don't have to buy my food, buy somebody else's food. You buy somebody's food, you eat it, right? That's that concept. Okay, so 5 keywords, seasonal. You should not depart from 5 keywords until you have just the absolutes. One of the terms I love, when I was young, I always tried to be super, well, it's funny that I can't think of the word. But say everything perfectly. That's one of the words for that. I'm not thinking of it right now, which is funny. Articulate, that's it. But as I got older, I realized that I really love these old phrases and terms for my years that my grandmother and parents and my older uncles and aunts used. And one of them is a raft. When I was a kid, I didn't understand that. Probably, if you're from Texas, you've heard this. There's a whole raft, right? So there's a whole raft of keywords for any of you guys. But you need to own these 5 and operate on those and see how that, you can't test anything unless you're consistent. And so you need to consistently put out content on your 5 core keywords. And after a year, and I mean that after a year of producing content, then measure your lowest performing and tweak those, okay? But don't depart off those, because you probably have 50, every one of you probably have at least 50 keywords that you can operate on. But you need to own the 4 or 5, okay? Seasonal, your industry, testimonial, local, and mobile. Local and mobile is huge. You have to learn to own your local area. For real estate, obviously, that's indispensable. I mean, it's probably more indispensable than most verticals. Because you just literally can't sell anywhere else. And it's even probably something where you need to dial down into intra-city. Within Austin, you need to dial down into what locality works. Say again.
A subdivision or something.
Subdivision areas, but again, look at how people are searching. Google's going to tell you how people search. So you may think subdivision, but then when you search it and you search that subdivision, you find out that all the searches are about the school. So you need to put out some stuff on the schools. Go pull 5 reasons this school district is one of the most popular in Austin, most popular in Texas. Why it won these awards. Put out press releases on the awards it won. Congratulate them. Those kind of things. Because those are going to index along with what people are already searching. Okay? And I'll tell you a secret a little ahead of time. Indexing is what this is all about. So if you don't understand how Google works, Google is a giant filing cabinet that automatically files things according to what they think are relevant. Okay? So when they find you relevant for something, they're going to file that away. Now, if they don't find you relevant, they put you at the back of the line. The back of the line is a bad place to be. Because now you have to convince them that same content you already spent all that time and energy working on is actually worth putting up in a place. They have to re-index it. And that's what you want. You want your content to get indexed correctly first, okay? Local and mobile. Mobile is huge. I've put out a lot of material on mobile lately because I am in the industry and I've been shocked by what I'm finding with mobile. Let me tell you a few facts. There's a widely disseminated fact, which is that over half of all searches are mobile now. That's true. But within that, there are some shocking usage statistics and anecdotes that I know. One is that within certain verticals, mobile is almost 100%. Anything having to do with personal care, whether it's health, fitness, makeup, hair, these are all almost completely mobile. So if you're even in the ecosystem of any of those, if if you're not just optimized for mobile, the mobile experience has to be gold. Because somebody out there is making it gold. If you don't, somebody else is going to. Huge for real estate because people are searching on their homes and things while they're in their car. They're looking at this house, I kind of like this, I don't like this as much as I thought it is. Are there any other houses available in this area? So investing in technology that will allow people to key into other homes for sale that are close. And I don't know the real estate vertical well enough to know whether those exist. If they don't, it's probably a pretty good invention to go after. But they probably does. I can't imagine that Realtor.com doesn't do that. That's worth money. That's big money right there. Your on-page experience should be gold on mobile. Not just passing Google's mobile-friendly test. It's really important. Google has a mobile-friendly test, and I talk to business owners every day who pass that test, but they don't convert on mobile. The other version is they're so bad that Google actually will not return the page. They say this website doesn't exist. I'm talking to a lady right now. She's a major influencer in her vertical, and on a mobile device, it says this website doesn't exist because it's that bad on mobile. Okay, mobile is gigantic. Another demo that mobile is huge in that people don't automatically get associated with it is the rural, but it doesn't, not like way out rural, just right outside of town. Once the income drops a little bit, there's a phenomenon that's happening, and what it is people will forego buying a new desktop computer, because the mobile device they have is better than any computer they can afford.
Yeah.
So they're 100% mobile. So if you're selling in rural, if you deal with rural at all, or just lower income areas, the likelihood is that everything they're consuming is on mobile. Another really big impact is the Hispanic market. It is growing massively, and people are not, it's reticular activation. If you've never heard of this term, I remember in 2000, I bought a 95 Ranger. I never even thought about a Ford Ranger. It's actually one of the most popular vehicles ever produced. And once I bought it, they're everywhere. Now, either one or two things happen. Either A, somehow the news got out that I was buying a Ford Ranger and all these other people wanted to buy Ford Rangers for 94. Or my brain was activated to look for Ford Rangers. That's reticular activation. Okay? So when we dwell kind of our own lane all the time, you don't see something right beside you that's gigantic. And part of what that is the Hispanic market. So you need to look at your buyer base and look at what's happening on the Hispanic side. A really good thing to do is find somebody who markets in the Hispanic community, go buy them lunch, talk to them, find out how advertising goes on that side of the fence, and like what they consume and how. Turn on a Spanish language television show and watch a Spanish language channel for like 3 hours. One of the fascinating things is to look at the beer commercials and how the beer commercials are different. I was watching a football game the other day. I was a little irritated at first because I reported it, and ESPN, who makes the most arbitrary decisions I've ever seen, they had 2 national championship invitation games back to back. First one was English, second one was Hispanic. So the second one I recorded is all in Spanish. Now I speak Spanish, but not fast enough to follow those guys. Because those guys are rocking. They are going to town. And they have all their idioms and things that I don't know. But what was fun for me was watching the commercials. So you watch the same beer commercial that Bud Light is running over on the English channel, and what they're running on the Spanish channel, completely different. It's much more around family. It's much more around grilling in the backyard. Every beer commercial I've seen on Spanish channels, every single one of them is grilling in the backyard. It's fascinating. Now, it's just interesting that much of a change. So I'll stop talking about that right now because we've got still the whole time on my first slide, and that's not good. So index, I've already talked about that's huge. We're talking about content marketing. Rule number 1 in content marketing is everything is content. Today, come up to this meeting and post this meeting. This will produce probably 10 or 11 pieces of content for me. Because I've built into my systems and processes a process by which, as I'm going forward towards anything, I'm producing content. Because I understand that everything is content. Every email that you've gotten around this indexes. Because I make a choice on meetup to make a message. Every single one's got a link to my website, at least. You may have 2 links to my website and a link to something else right now. That's an insider SEO trick. you're trying to link to rank for something, always link out to a third-party site that is authoritative to Google. So for instance, if we were doing real estate marketing, or real estate search, let's call it real estate search. And I want to rank for Eric and Austin real estate search for home buyers. I'm going to search that term on Google and leave your name out of it. Then I'm going to pick one of those top 10 pages that are not going to compete with me. I'm not going to use realtor.com because it'll refer a different realtor. But if I can find a blog on 5 tips on home search, I'm going to link to that. And especially if it's like in Atlanta. I don't care if I send somebody to Atlanta business. I don't sell anyone. And guess what? They might find it, like me, and send me a referral. So I might actually make money out of it. So refer to something that doesn't compete directly with you, but that Google finds authoritative. Link to authoritative content. Another insider SEO trick, put it in your footer. Put authoritative information in the footer of your website. The footer indexes on every single page. So a mistake a lot of people make is they put multiple H1 tags in the footer. Every single page will index with, this happens a lot of websites who don't understand SEO. So every single page is stacking 2 H1 tags, and then when you create another title on that page, that's a third H1 tag. And that it won't really get you, too many people make that mistake now. It's not going to get you sandbox, but it will get you the index. Your index will go lower because it looks like you're trying to spam Google. Everything is content, okay? Everything. I can't emphasize that enough. Everything you do on your drive home today, record a 3-minute or a 20-second video. Hey, went to this meetup with this guy that's a giant redhead, and he talked a lot, and he didn't say much. But I like the food. That's this content. Put that up on YouTube. Okay? Review things on YouTube. Think about what you want people to do. People want to know, like, and trust you, right? Help them know and like you on YouTube. Google reviews of everything you like, especially in town. Especially if you're local. I call it local. Record, like, you don't want to stand outside of the schools. I don't really like the schools. But what you do want to do is do a little 3-minute thing about these are the 3 best schools in Cedar Park. I just read this article. Kind of a fun thing that people like is hold up the newspaper that has the article in it. I don't know why that converts so well, but it does. Okay? I just read this article. It's really great. You should check these out if you're interested in buying in this area. This is a great thing to do. So everything is content. Okay? So I came up with this last night. I thought it was kind of clever. I couldn't think of a 5th E to work for motivate, but this is what I'm going to work with now. So with everything that I do, I'm always looking for 5, and here's why. Your brain remembers 5 really easy. I don't know if there's research to prove this, but my opinion is that it's because your brain can process an odd number. We know that through content studies. I believe that's because there's a beginning, middle, and end. With an even number, there's no middle. I think your brain has a little harder time with that. But with an odd number, you do. You also remember 5 really easy. 5 is a really easy number to remember. So I'm always looking for a list of 5. Okay? So I want you to think about 5 types of content. It's to educate, it's to elucidate, it's to exacerbate, it's to eradicate, it's to motivate. Educate's obvious, but educate, the way I think of education, I think all of us think of it like this. If we did a little brainstorming study and said, what do you think about when you think about education? We'd probably come up with, schools, universities, books, right? That's what you think of when you think about educating. It's a passive, long-term, long-play thing, right? It's an entity that takes a lot of time. That's one way you should think about your content. What long-term, in the next 5 years, what do you want to tell your clients? That's a long, serious blog post, okay? Every month you post on one thing on that thing that you want to think about with your clients. So that's your long cycle. Elucidate. Elucidate, one definition of elucidate is to shine light on, to shed light on. And I think of it like a spotlight. So the one thing that's killing you in marketing, this one mistake holds back 90% of business owners. The one thing that kills you in tax season, the one thing that will kill your home search, elucidate, spotlight. Okay? Exacerbate. Exacerbate, in the sales process, we talk about selling the pain. A lot of people think of that as manipulative, but it's really not. It's people coming to you with a pain to solve. And if they're doing that, why not talk about that pain? I was doing some auditing the other day from a company that I'm auditing their phone calls to help them with their phone sales. And one of the things is that I'm talking to them about, and they're resisting me on a little bit, is selling the pain. So if a customer calls you and says, I want to make this change, why? Why do you want to make that change? We might not even be the right fit. Why do you want to make that change? Tell me about that. Well, it's affecting my life this way. That sounds bad. Tell me more about that. How does that work? Well, when we do this and this, it affects us this way. And we can't do the thing we want because we have ABC. So what you're doing there is you're kind of fleshing out this idea of the reason they want to make the change. Now, what you've done by doing that is you separate yourself from every other person they talk to. Okay? And here's why. Every other person is coming in, beating the door down, trying to get a product. You're going, wait a minute. Let's give us a few minutes. Let's talk about this. And then you're getting into a conversation with them. Now, you can do that on a blog post. And the way you do that is by reverse engineering a testimonial. So you find testimonials that have these horror stories in them, and you go, this is what a lot of people experience. One of my customers experienced this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I find that this is the reason that I've gotten into this business, because I love solving this problem for my people. And this is how we do it. Okay? You got 500 words before you fall out of bed. It's that fast, that easy. Okay? That's exacerbate, eradicate. 5 things you don't want to do when you're trying to buy a house in Cedar Park. The 17 mistakes that I see most often made in the field of blogging, when I see people blog. Okay? Eradicate. Get rid of this. Don't do it. Motivate. Motivate is, I think, the way I think of motivate is more inspirational. So obviously, each one of these ideas is its own definition. But as you look at all these, you could define all of them as very close to each other. You can make a case in each one, but I'm intentionally defining them in such a way that they're independent. Does that make sense? Yes.
Keyword for motivate is encourage.
Yeah, I want the 8.
All right.
I want the 8.
How about insight? How about insight?
That would, for me, that's more of the exacerbate. I like insight, but insight has more negative connotation.
But elevate.
Yeah, that might work. I like elevate. Elevate. All right. So what these are, what I'm trying to give you is ways to frame your content that your brain, see, I'm removing baffles. You see that? So for me, what I'm trying to do is, number one, if I ever approach an idea for content and I run into a stumbling block, I take some time out, forget about the content, but what is this stumbling block all about? Why am I getting hung up on this? Here's some things I know. I know it doesn't have to be Shakespeare. I know it doesn't have to be rocket science. Matter of fact, if I try to achieve either one of those, I'm probably going to fail at what I actually want to achieve, which is conversion and indexing. So you remember the tier 1, tier 2, money site, non-money site. Money site is about conversion. Tier 2 site is about indexing. I want to convert people and get them to do what I want to do, and I want to index them. So anytime I run into anything that's causing me to slow down, I want to sit and define that a little bit. I want to take a little bit of time, remove that baffle. That's what these little 5 lists do for me. See, now if I'm trying to write a piece of content about remodeling, which happened to me last week, I produce so much content. I'll give you a little insider tip in a minute on blog creation. But I produced so much content, I was literally just in a wall. Like, I couldn't think of anything else to do. So I used my little 5 tip, and in seconds, I had a blog post started, and my brain was kind of restarted. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Images, blogs, and videos. These are the 3 principal forms of content we're going to talk about today. So images are huge, and they're very underused. People take pictures, and they think in a certain way about pictures, and that stops you. Again, that baffles you from producing what you should produce. I probably have close to 100,000 pictures on my web at this point. Because for the last 18 months, once the doorway opened in my mind, I understood it. Wait a minute. Nothing was stopping me from producing all the pictures. So, here's the formula. I went to if this and that, and I made a recipe that causes every time I take a picture on my phone, that uploads to Flickr. So all of my stuff is on Flickr. I take a ton of pictures. Then I also went to if this and that, and I did a backup of my photos. Now my photos on my computer are all from my real camera. Okay, those are higher end photos. They're bigger. They're also more intentional. The stuff I take on my phone is all my Instagram photos. It backs up all those. Everything I've done on Twitter, it backs up all that. And then everything I've taken just in my own phone. Now, one of the things I do is anytime I'm taking a picture of a group of people, I was going to take a picture of us today, I would take 4 or 5 because I don't know which one's going to come out. Right? So that means for every one picture, there's 5, and those are all indexing. Now, I did that about 18 months ago, and I kind of forgot about it. And then I ran across it again when I was doing this project that I'm fixing to talk about. And so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there and organize those into albums. And then I'm going to offer those to people if they'll give me a link. You can have these for free. It's free use, no royalties. Just give me a link back to my site. So with that and everything that I've gotten on Fiverr, if you've never done Fiverr, go to Fiverr and search images. It's getting harder now because it's been spammed a lot. But you used to be able to go on Fiverr and pretty easily get some stock images. They're not real great, but it's all about volume. Okay? So then there's markup of the image itself. Markup of the image itself includes the metadata and the way Google's going to index that image. So you mark up, now this takes a lot of time. This is hard, this is not easy. So the best thing to do is hire somebody to do it. So you mark up all the images, and then each one of those images has its own markup. Then when you upload it, Google is crawling on that and slowly indexing it. Once it's all been indexed, then you can use it in different ways, and it becomes more powerful for you, okay? So images, then blogs, kind of the pro tip on blogs is to create blogs that are not your money side blogs. So who else wrote keywords? You wrote keywords down? All right, give me the team.
Youth speaker, motivational school assemblies, motivational youth speaker.
Okay, let's go motivational school assembly. So if you go to WordPress, you can use WordPress, Weebly, Jimbo, Wix, and somewhere I think will do blogs. So in each one of these, you can go for those keywords. So I'm going to go for motivationalyouthtspeaker.wordpress.com. This is a hosted, what's called a hosted WordPress blog. Okay? So WordPress is the most common format because that's where WordPress started. Is these hosted blogs. Then they began to host them where you can have your own domain. Okay? So go in there, load up a bunch of images. Now the secret about images is they don't have to be exactly about what you're doing. You don't want to be loading up a bunch of pictures of people's kids. That's probably not going to, parents probably not going to like that. What you can do is load up pictures of yourself speaking. Now here's the beautiful thing. So I've made this, right? This haiku deck. I could take each one of these images and index them. I could take this entire deck and index it. I can shoot this deck on a screenshot video with me talking about it, and it's a video. So see this one piece of content, I've got probably 60 pieces of content out of it, including all the individual images. That's what I'm talking about. You have to think in a different way about your content and what you're producing, and think volume, quantity instead of quality, on everything but your money side. Like your money side is the best.
How do you index images?
Google does.
But I mean, if you just put your tags on there and you just put them on your WordPress site or whatever you're just saying.
Google does it.
And how do you put tags on an image?
That's longer. You've got to get a software that does that. Photoshop will do it, but there's all other software that will do it too. But it's a lot of time, man, because you're thinking about thousands of images, and each one is at least a minute, probably.
Is that how you do it? It's Photoshop?
I don't even know what they use. I've got my guys who do it.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I said, you need to hire somebody because you don't need to be doing that because you're doing that, you're wasting your time. You should be selling. Yes.
Can you explain what the 5 keywords purpose is?
5 keywords for purpose is to keep you focused. That's what the purpose is.
How do you-
Are you talking about limiting it to 5? Is that
I was just, I'm failing to understand. Are they search terms that you want to use over and over again in your content?
It's understanding you want to suss out how Google views your content because, Google views your keyword universe because that's how your customers come. Google is customer driven. They are consumer search driven. And that's what they're returning. So an easy study to do without paying anybody is to go spend a couple hours on Google and start searching your search terms. And then when you search them, then you'll see the blue links on the top 10. You'll also see there's like 10 or 15 more searches at the bottom of the page. And that's other things Google thinks might be relevant, but you didn't search for that exactly. And you're also going to see all of the title tags for all the AdWords. Now, AdWords, they dynamically source those. So what they do is they say, we want to buy in Austin. So if you go, we want to buy shoes in Austin, every shoe company that's paying AdWords is going to put shoes in there. If If you say one about high top Converse Chuck Taylors, they're going to put that keyword in there. So you're not going to learn as much that way. You're going to learn a lot more by organic. So what you're going to find is when you go to search a term, and that exact term is not on any of the top 10, you're on the wrong keyword. You need to do some more research. That's a whole workshop in itself, and we can sit down and talk about that sometime. But that's generally what you want to do. You want to
So in selecting 5 keywords, you would recommend to, put a draft list together and go Google each one of them, and Google them in various combinations. To kind of see what's coming back there.
Or pay
Decide
somebody.
if that's
do that or pay somebody.
or pay somebody.
Yeah. Well, what you think about is what your time's worth. This is the way I always look at it. My time's worth $200 an hour. Am I going to pay if I got to pay somebody $200 an hour to do keyword research? No. Then I'm going to hire somebody. That's when you hire somebody. But I mean, I'm not pitching that for me. Just hire somebody because for me, my time again, if I'm worth $200 an hour, I'm paying somebody $200 an hour to vacuum the floor. I'm paying somebody $200 an hour to do these other things. That need to be done. Does that come close to answering? Okay. Does somebody else have a question before we move on? Okay. All right, then videos. Videos are not as well understood what all you can do with videos. Number one, YouTube. Google really wants YouTube to rank well. It's also a very versatile search engine. And so you can get a lot of boost from YouTube. I'll tell you this would be great. Somebody search on your phones, flower mound kitchen remodel. Yeah. Flower mound, that's 2 words while I'm talking. So videos, several of the things we're doing. One of the things is we're taking, my client fortunately had a whole boatload of pictures of their jobs. They probably have 300 pictures of their jobs. So we're taking these and we're taking like 10 pictures of jobs, stack those in 4-second exposure increments. Then have our title tag up there, then in our description, that gives us more keywords. We can get links in the description. Those links aren't real super valuable, but they are valuable. Links are all about preponderance of evidence. Civil trial, criminal trial difference. Criminal trial is beyond the shadow of doubt of guilt. Civil trial, preponderance of evidence. That's the way Google works. Preponderance of evidence. If there's 800 people pointing at you, Google's going to go, this person's more relevant than this person over here that has one person pointing out. That's generally speaking a very rough way, the way Google works. So with videos, you have this opportunity to control your content and produce a photo. Because you can produce these slideshare videos and run through these content lists, put in a good description, good title, and then there's also some advanced optimization stuff that you can do. And optimize your channel correctly, bam, overnight almost, you've got an indexing engine. That's good. Google's going to index all that. They want it all developed. Now, did you pull that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did flower space mound.
Yeah.
Kitchen remodeling. Okay.
Now scroll down until you find videos. You may have to go to page 2 or 3.
I mean, there's a tab that says videos, or should I just?
Say it again?
There's a tab that says videos. You want me to?
No. Go in the main index. The reason you don't do that is you're going to go into videos, and what I want to know is how Google is returning on its searching, the web search engine, how they're returning properties. I care a little bit how they're returning videos, but I care way more about how they're returning. You find any videos yet?
No.
Okay. What page are you on?
2.
Okay. Yeah, you may have to go to 3, maybe even 4. So a really good thing to do is have other people search your material because it's very difficult now. Google's made it almost impossible for your own search habits not to affect what you return.
Yeah.
So you get your own. A really great thing to do on your own computer is to use a separate browser and never use it for anything. Like Firefox, not Internet Explorer. Nobody should ever use Internet Explorer. But you can use Firefox and get to Google on there, but never click on anything you search on.
It is page 4.
Yeah.
On my video.
Which video? That's it?
Flower mound kitchen remodeling.
Which one's ours?
I got one.
I'm gonna be so happy this is ours.
Yeah. I got one on page 3.
Nice, yeah, that's ours. Yep, that's ours.
Okay.
So the first video index under that search term, which is a fairly popular search term,
Oh.
is ours. So that means Google
So
finds that very.
you're front burner marketing.
Yes.
Did that.
So and it's not rocket science. You're gonna look at it and go, okay, all right. but it's about indexing. It's about having more and more properties indexed. Okay? So our strategy with this is to form 5 blogs. Like I said before, it's Wix, Weebly, Jimbo, Tumblr, and WordPress. Then over time, I've got the WordPress one done, and I'm starting to work on the others.
You've got a lot of views too.
How many views?
Oh, well, on the first one, you did 106,000, and the second one underneath that is 60,000.
Nice. So on each one of those, I'm gonna optimize those blogs. That takes a lot of time. First thing you gotta do is put 10 pages of content up. Then the next thing you gotta do is optimize each one of those pages of content. Then you want to do what's called strategic interlinking, hierarchy on the blog itself. Then you want to assemble all of your outbound links to your authoritative content. Then you want to install all your outside properties, so all your images, any videos, and then I want an industry leader influencer quote on every page. So Joanna and Chip Gaines from House Flippers, any of the DIY guys, I follow all those guys on Twitter. I want posts from them, so I go out and look at other stuff that's indexed. As long as I quote them and link to it, I'm safe. There's nothing that's fair use. It's public domain, right? So, and especially if I'm giving them a link, there's no way they're not going to like that. So on every page, I want that because that gives me 3 things. Number 1, it gives me indexing. It gives me a valuable piece of property. And for customer facing, it gives me conversion, social proof. This guy's telling me about Chip and Joanna Gaines. He must be a great guy, right? That's what we do. You may not like the fact that you do that, but we all do it.
Everybody loves them too.
I know. They're awesome. I'm going to tell you something. That reveal they do is brilliant. That's one of the most brilliant things I've seen in marketing in my entire life. It's brilliant. The funny thing is they're making Waco look attractive. I feel so bad for these poor people. I had a friend when I was dancing. I do a lot of two-stepping. I was dancing with this girl. She goes, "Have you ever thought about investing in houses in Waco?" And I looked at her.
No.
This is before I knew who these people were. Those people were making a lot of money doing that. I was like, no, they were making a lot of money having a TV show.
I think a lot of people are saying, where is this place Waco? Why do they have $100,000 houses?
Yeah. So volume, we've talked about this. We talked about markup. Use Flickr and Picasa. Both of those index really well. Google Plus and Google Plus Collections are big. Google Plus Collections is brand new. Google wants you to use collections because they want to know what these images are about from your perspective. Okay? Google Plus indexes really well. There's a lot of things you can do just by optimizing your Google profile. That profile can pop really fast. So a good experiment, this is what experiment we're running right now. We're going to put up some Google Plus profiles of these blogs. And we've already indexed them, but we know how they're indexing now. So we know we're at index X point, right? So it's going to be X plus Y. So we're going to quickly, all at once, go in and fully flesh out our Google Plus profile, and then I'm going to sit back and leave it. We're going to add some images regularly. We're going to regularly post images and stuff. So we've got regular content going out. We're going to attach that to Hootsuite. This is one thing you should definitely do. Have multiple properties going out so that the social signals is giant. I've got anecdotal proof for my own research of here's where my rankings are. And then if I do a blast on Hootsuite, where I go like every 2 hours and I post to all these profiles, those rankings jump. Those social proof, those social signals are huge.
When you add images, you said?
No, when I just post it, I just go to those pages. Like I found my home remodeling, not the video, but the blog itself. So I did this today. Every time I've got a minute, I just go do it. I always keep this open in a tab. And so I'll go to that page, and I just go, I've got like 9 profiles I use. None of them are my personal profile. They're just these other accounts I'm building. And I just go, hey, please retweet Wow Down Kitchen Remodeling page. And it's got an image because I've optimized it correctly. It's going to pull an image into the Hootsuite post. And then that's going to flash across 9 socials. About a third of the time I get a retweet out of it. That's a huge social signal.
You don't use buffer or anything like that?
I use Hootsuite.
Hootsuite.
I get more accounts with Hootsuite with the pro version. I get 50 accounts. Where with Buffer, I think you get 15. And then you got to step up in price. I like Buffer a lot better. There's a lot of things I don't like about Hootsuite, but the 50 account is what keeps me there. Okay, so you should pay big attention to all of this. Volume, you should be producing content today. Take pictures of everything you can today. Get them uploading, okay? Blogs. Again, we talked about this before. On your main site, your money site, then your tier 2 sites. Now this is big. This is gold. I really should be charging you to tell you this. Guest blog with a alliance partner. So you're real estate, find a real estate agent in Atlanta, Virginia, whatever. And what I'm offering, I just started doing this. Okay, so I'm following my own advice. I'm going to industry partners or alliance partners, like other remodelers in other cities. We're not competing. And so I'm going to them and I'm going, hey, look, this is what I'll do for you. Let's guest blog. I'll write both of them. You don't have to write either one of them. Tell me what you want to talk about, and I'll write it. And then I'll write you one from our perspective you can put on yours. Now, there's a key element in guest blogging. The typical guest blog, the reason Google started no count, it's like a no follow link. They started no following guest blogs is because everybody was spamming them. And the way they're spamming them is just putting crap content out there and then putting their author bio and links in the footer of the article itself. So you have to have your links inside the text, the body of the text, and the rules for that are much more specific and much more stringent. And you can't get in trouble by not doing it right. So you definitely need to do your homework on it, okay?
And if their site, I'm sorry, but
That's
if their
okay.
site's linking to you and your site's linking to them, isn't Google figure that out too? Or
Yeah, but as long as you're organic about it and you're natural, you're not shooting 30 links in a 100 word post. You've got a 1,000-word post. That's very, very useful. You've got links going out to third-party authoritative sites. You've got a link going to you. You've got a link going to the homepage. You've got a link going to a frequently asked questions page. You've got a link going to your helpful resources page. None of that is salesy. None of that feels unnatural. It feels very natural, right? Yeah. There's a whole list of rules that you've got to obey that you can waste a lot of your energy on if you don't obey those. Okay. All right. This is another kind of insert slide trick. Is how do you build a blog in such a way that you can make video out of it? So H tags are header tags. And the way I use header tags, and it's industry best practice, is so here's the title of my blog. That goes up at the top. And then right under that's going to be an H2 tag with a byline. That's the second line. So 5,000 people died in an earthquake. That's the H1 tag. Authorities fear it might be could start some fires by gas main breaks. That's the H2 tag. Okay, now as you go through the content, 5 reasons you should not fear an earthquake. That might be an H2 tag coming down. That's going to give me some room to write. Then I'm going to have some H3 tags in there that divide that content. So it's content dividers, and they're by sub-keywords. Okay, so your main keyword, one of your 5 main keywords, is contained in the title. It's probably contained in your H2 tag as well. Then as you go down through, you divide that content. Well, here's another action. Well, have you thought about this? Well, what about this? Here's 5 bullet points on this. All those are H tags. You should be able to walk out of that blog post and make a screenshot video with all those thoughts, those dividers. Does that make sense? Okay.
screenshot video?
Yeah. So just like I told you, I could take all of these. Each one of these, I can make a video. I can take these images and make a slideshare video. So I'm shooting the video. Yeah. So it's screenshot, slideshare, it's the same thing. So that's how you want to write your blog post because that's logically how you're going to help your customer think through a process, okay? So another easy way to do that is 5 steps. Divide it into 5 H tags. What do you want to tell them? Before you ever write a word, beginning, middle, and end, what do you want to tell them? And then write that out behind them, okay? If you do it right, they are your slides and your videos. Combine them with images. Attach the images to the thoughts. Don't build images and try to attach thoughts to those. Start with your thought, attach images to it, okay? Less than 60 seconds. You don't want a video that's too long because you want people to actually watch it. And people will not start a video if it's too long, and that means you don't get the view. You don't get the play count. And the play count is value to Google. Because the more people that hit play on that video, the more valuable it is. You get the view count. Yeah.
What's your recommended user-friendly editing software?
Well, actually, YouTube actually has a back-end editor. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. And I don't know, man. I think my guy uses, and I forgot the name of it now.
We have Adobe Creative Suite. But,
Yeah, if you can afford that, yeah. But a lot of people, that's going to be kind of expensive for a lot of people. On some computers, it comes loaded. If you can get that and you're good at it, but that's definitely something to find somebody who's good at it. And
It's steep.
so again, you think about all your time. This is why shooting first-person videos on your phone is great. But again, there's software on your computer. I mean, on like Google Chrome. Go find video software on extensions, and you'll find some stuff out there that's free that'll do a decent job of it for you. Okay. Yeah. This is just a general rule that we use. 10 images, 4 seconds per image, 2 seconds of transition. You're going to have a second on either side of transition. One of the mistakes one of my editors made early on is he had 4 seconds total. So his transition was 1 second, transition out was 1 second, 2 seconds on image. That's not long enough. You need a full 4 seconds at least. But this will give you a 60-second video with 10 images. So you get 6 seconds total time per image, right? The title and description on the top for the SEO. If you want my video markup guide, you can either email me or text me, and I will email that to you. There's a full markup system you need to be using for it. That's all Google best practice. Social. Your money site, your off site, tier 2 or 3. We're talking about looking for, right? You want social accounts for all of those. Okay? Now, once you get deeper in this, you're going to have to hire somebody because you don't have enough phone numbers to qualify all these accounts. Because some of them make you use a phone number to start the accounts. But you want accounts for all of them because that's all social signals. Now, the beauty of it is once you get hip deep in this thing, you're going to have 15, 20 accounts. And you can share all your material across all those accounts. Okay? So it becomes a valuable asset just in itself, just your list of social accounts. Okay? All right.
These are multiple Google sites? I don't know which one.
Social accounts. So Twitter, Facebook. Facebook, not so much. They shut down what you can do on Facebook. Facebook is not as organically relevant. It's really not organically relevant at all. Twitter is much better. Twitter and Google have started playing nice again. And so Google's able to crawl their stuff, and the signal itself has become much more valuable. Google Plus is very valuable. Reddit is valuable, but you've got to know how to use it. Don't use it wrong. And I'm going to tell you something, I'm just warning you, so you don't think I did this. Reddit is like all of the negative things it means to be a human being. All piled into one spot with some nasty rotten gravy on top. There's some nasty stuff in there.
What do you mean?
I'm not.
Oh, you mean like porn?
No.
No.
Think of the worst thing that I could have been and get worse than that. And that's how I run it. So, I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Tumblr is another one. Imgur, have you guys used Imgur? Do you like it?
Yeah.
For indexing and for SEO?
Yeah, we'll throw up like infographics on there for
Yeah.
clients, and then just link at the bottom to like their website, like for more information and stuff.
Does that give you good signals?
You'll get like 1,000 views in like an hour. So yeah.
I'm going to start using Imgur then. Yeah, Tumblr and Reddit are both like subdefined. I don't know if Imgur is subdefined as well, but Reddit has been used like for a long time. Reddit predates most things you know about the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But don't turn on you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's much better. It's much better to participate than it is to try to be informed. Yeah. Build your keyword accounts fast. You need to obey best practice rules for all social accounts that you create. Most of that is optimized. One of the biggest things is Twitter. If you don't have a link in your Twitter profile, take a small tack hammer, hit yourself squarely between the eyes, and then go put a link in your Twitter profile. Now, I'm not talking about the one where you ask for the website. I'm talking about the profile description. You can have 5 links in there. Now, they're not super gold valuable or anything, but again, it's preponderance of evidence. You're adding a stone. It's like throwing gravel in a dump truck, one piece of gravel at a time. Okay? The more people you pay, they get bigger shovels. They throw more gravel at a time. Okay? Share everything all the time. You just spend an hour a week scheduling stuff out on Hootsuite because that's the best way you're going to do it. Hootsuite is your friend. Know your hashtags. Your hashtags, you have to look. Best practice, and then the 2 things you should know is best practice and then the profile that you're using. From what I've seen, hashtags are not that valuable on Facebook. Hashtags on LinkedIn work, but they kind of piss people off. They work great on Twitter. They work great on Instagram. Tell you a little secret about Instagram. I worked for about 6 months to add 200 followers organically on my Twitter account, just by producing good content. I wanted to see how that would work. It took me 6 months to add 200 followers. So I wasn't going out and following. I wasn't doing all that game. I was doing that stuff. I was producing good content and trying to form authentic relationships. And it took me about 6 months to add 200 followers. And I stalled out at about 1,500. I started using Instagram about 3 or 4 months ago and using the hashtags on Instagram and reposting to Twitter. So I post from Instagram through to Twitter. My follower base went up. I gained about 100 followers without doing, I stopped doing anything on Twitter because I was burned out on Twitter. So my follower base went up on Twitter and I retained the followers. The followers didn't fall down. So with Twitter, you push, you get up here. If you stop doing stuff, your follower base starts falling. People start unfollowing you. But for whatever reason, the Instagram stuff has some kind of organic hold where the people who follow you won't unfollow you. So it's very effective. I highly recommend posting from Instagram to Twitter.
Did you ever use TweetAdder?
Say it again.
Did you ever use TweetAdder before it was banned?
Mm-hmm.
I use TweetAdder, and I think I have like 4,000 followers on Twitter.
Do or did?
I do, and
Okay.
they stuck around, but
Nice.
TweetAdder was banned, but it would just constantly send out requests to follow somebody, and they generally follow, if you follow it, then they follow you back.
Right.
But eventually, we got them.
It's also a tool that you can audit your Twitter account.
There's so
to make sure that like
Yeah.
Crowdfire is
That's
really
true, yeah.
Crowdfire is a nice free tool. Crowdfire, yeah. You can I've got if you again email me and ask for it, I've got a couple of tutorials on Crowdfire, and I'll show you live how it works and everything. So run you through it real easy. Crowdfire is nice too. I don't know if all tools do this, but so I probably have 30 Twitter profiles that I deal with. You can attach all those to Crowdfire. Now you have to sign out and sign back in. So once you attach it to Crowdfire, so I got Crowdfire open here, Twitter account on all this tab. So mine, and then I'll sign out of mine, sign into my one of my modeling accounts, refresh this, it's now auditing that account. So I sign in now, and I'm auditing that. It's really useful. I don't know if the other tools will do that. I don't know if they have a.
Doesn't Hootsuite have, you can have all your Twitter things going on?
You can. I don't really like their interface very much.
Yeah, I don't
It's
either, that's why I
okay.
never use it.
I like it native a lot better.
Okay.
I like posting native too, but I'm not spending all that time to post native on all my 30 accounts. Yeah. So know your influencers. You should have a list. This is a nice thing about Twitter. You make lists, and you can put all your influencers in a list. You want to try to limit it to 10. I wouldn't get any longer than that because you start to lose value. But when you have these, retweeting is good. Building influence with them is good on Twitter. But what I use it for is quotes. So I'm going to go through the stuff they're posting, and I'm going to quote and link to what they did. Then I'm going to tell them I did it. So it's a great way, fast, easy, because that list is going to populate everything they've said, all their feeds. So you're going to have a feed full of just your influence. Yeah.
to add to Twitter, there's a really good site called trends24.in, and it shows you what's trending like by the hour, and then you can search by cities as well. Well, like major metro cities.
So why in the world won't Twitter do that?
I don't know. It's like just really.
Their trending stuff is so crap.
It is because if you're searching for like news articles, it's like kind of useful because you can
Right.
search by news. But
Right.
if I want to know like what the national day is or something, because
Well, I've tried to search on Twitter, and they say you can tailor it for you, and I tailor it for myself. I still get stuff that I have no interest in at all. Anyway.
Kardashian.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That is
Stuff,
what's
well,
so
stuff.
trending. That's
Well, one of the big problems that Twitter has is they have a gigantic user base overseas. So how do you tweet that? If you have 2 billion users and 1.8 billion are not in America, how do you tweet content for America with all this huge ocean of content?
I think
Did
you
you
do
get
that
one
on
of
Facebook.
Huh?
I mean, you can do like ads and stuff. Facebook, you can say just.
Right. Twitter's a completely different animal than Facebook now. Yeah. So know your influencers, understand, talk to them, retweet their stuff, post their stuff. Really easy blog article to do. It's a content wrap up. I just started to do this. I love it. So fast. I go content wrap up. I go to my influencers. I pick 5 things I like. I go, this is the 5 interesting things this week. And I put a little overview of each one. I pull one of their images, their headshot image, and so I put it in there so it has that on the page. And then I share it. I share it once, tell influencer 1. Twice, tell influencer 2. 3 times, tell influencer 3. I tried doing it just as an experiment with all of 5 of them in the same tweet. It doesn't get the same punch. It works much better to tell each one of them at a time. So you get influencer exposure. They like you. But people also attach more value to it, and you get a blog post out of it.
So you're doing this for your blog post, telling the influencer.
I'm doing a blog post and social. Yeah.
You're saying I have this new blog, and what's the image of?
Their headshot.
And then do you have a headshot of each one there?
I pull it from their Twitter profile. Yeah. And then I tell them about it. So I'm not trying to hide it. I'm giving them links, and I'm giving them tweet shout outs. So they may hate that. I doubt they will.
Yeah.
Somebody did that for me. I would love it. Blog types. So this is a nice overview of blog types. We'll talk about this a little bit. So 5 steps, 5 facts, 5 fears. In the news, he said, she said. So he said, she said is like a gossip type. 5 steps. We talk about this a lot. 5 facts about any one of your things. And if you do the trends like what he's talking about, there's an added value to it. If you follow a trend, then a lot of people are searching on this, and you get to be one of the authorities. Even if you're doing a content wrap up about what 5 or 4 figures said, you still get the authority kind of attachment of value. They attach value to you because you told them about the authority, right? What's in the news? Obviously, that goes back to trends, but it's really easy to blog about. He said, she said. I mean, you can do a blog post just full of quotes, and you're still going to get value out of it. So that's just the gossip, But Donald Trump was talking about Rupert Murdoch the other day, and this is what he said. I don't really agree with him, but this is the one good point of what he's talking about, and you should think about it. Here's 5 links for it, okay? These are easy, fast things to do that you don't have to use a lot of brain power for. But you get indexing out of it, you get authority out of it, you get social signals out of it. And you might get influencer attachment. An influencer, let me tell you something. I attended a Twitter workshop about 2 weeks ago, and this has blown my mind. Because for me, Twitter was dead. Twitter was dead for me. I went to this workshop. This guy's got like 300,000 followers, and he built it all organically through this method that he talks about. And so I used like three of his points. He's got a book called 365 Ways to Go from Good to Great on Twitter. Yeah, it's really good. Just text me and I'll send it to you. Not the book, the link. I'm not buying it for everybody. But I used 3 of his techniques. I got 100 followers overnight. I didn't ask for anybody. And he didn't retweet me. That wasn't him retweeting me. That was just the methods that I used. And I've since gained another 100 followers easily, and I haven't really done anything on Twitter. So it's been, I only have like 1,700 followers. So this 100 to somebody who has 5,000 is, a lot different than somebody who has 1,600. So yeah, the influence thing is big. 5 steps. I don't remember. All right, we're going to go back here. So using the 5 steps of the sale, if you go on my Twitter channel, Comedy Austin, you'll find several presentations where I talk about the 5 steps of the sale. So you can go through that. But I'm going to tell you really quickly what they are. The greeting, rapport building and investigation, presentation, demonstration, and close. Close, you're not really going to get a lot of meat out of. But those other 4, you should be blogging on them. What is the greeting stage of your sales process like? What terms do you use? What do people care about when they come to you? Why are they coming to you in the first place? Why are they coming to you instead of somebody else? How many times do they come to you after they have a bad experience with somebody else? Those are all greeting levels. Rapport building investigation, if you're like me, if you're like a lot of my clients, you think this. I felt this too, felt found. If you feel this way, you're not uncommon. I felt that way myself, and I found felt found. That's another framework. But these are all in rapport building investigation. If you're the right client for me, you think this way. I'm looking at these kind of people, they think this way. Take testimonials work in there too. Here's the people that like me, and here's why they like it about me, and this is the things they like about me, and this is what they like about my service. Then presentation demonstration. Presentation is the first time that a solution to your problem comes out. So you're talking about direct solutions to problems. Demonstration is exactly in a granular level how those solutions work. So you're talking about infographics. Infographics are a great thing to use great piece of content and demonstrating how something works or how a solution works. Okay, so that's the 5 steps of the sale and how you can use that to create blog posts. If you're ever out of stuff, you can think through those first 4 steps, and you can probably get content out of that. You should be able to. All right.
So you're saying the 5 steps of the sale, you use that for each blog post, or?
Whatever. You can do whatever you want. It's all about just coming to a stopping point where you're having writer's block or whatever, and getting a framework to get your mind thinking again, to restart you. Okay? Not rocket science, it's not Shakespeare. Okay? You're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. If you want a shocking fact, I'll tell you a shocking fact. Is everybody ready for a shocking fact? Are you sure? I'm glad you're all sitting down.
Yeah.
You're not original. There is so little original content now because
Ruined my
why?
day.
We're in this new age of everybody knows everything all the time about everybody. If you have a thought, generally most of the time 1,000 other people have had that same thought. Go spend an hour in a closet just meditating and try to come up with an original blog post title, and then go search that title, and you're going to find 1,000 other blog posts with that title. At least. So don't try to reinvent it. Just try to be original enough to take a take on it. Okay? Try to have so much content in it. Go to jeffbullis.com. This guy blows my mind. Actually, I'll go to him in a second. I'll show you something.
JeffBullis.com.
Jeff Bullis. I'll show you in a second. Bullis, fast and volume. Be fast, produce volume. Don't be slow. Every time you think of an idea, this is one of my favorite things to do. I take that phone right there, and I'm going down the road. I've got it in my little holder on my dash. And if I think of a thought, I'm not admitting on tape that I touched my phone and all. But in other cities, I go to Gmail and I hit compose. I pop my email address in there because it already predicts it because I've done it so much. Then I hit compose and I hit the microphone, and then I start talking about my idea. And once you get used to this and you do it a few times, I've written a 4,000 word blog post on my way home from here. I get home now, it's got to be edited still, but I've still got 4,000 words of content. And guess what? On those 2 or 3 blogs, I don't edit them. I just poke them up, and it's got all my keywords in it. It's not perfect, it's not pretty, but probably nobody's going to read it. But it's full, it's 4,000 words of content. Google loves that. Now, if I want to get a little prettier, now I'll take that, I'll put it on a tier 3 blog that probably nobody's ever going to see. But it's not directly linked to anything, so it can't hurt anything. Then I'm going to take it and put it on my tier 2 blog, which probably some people are going to read. Now that one I'm going to pretty up, but guess what? When I pretty it up, it becomes unique. It's no longer duplicate content. It's not duplicate to what I produced over here because I've edited it.
Oh.
Then I might, if I want to, I'll take that and really dress it up and put it on my tier 1 blog. Or probably won't. Probably put it on my 2. I might split that into 2. Because 2,000 word blog posts are worth more than 1 4,000 word. Anything over 1,000 words is gold. Okay? Yeah. Then I'm going to pop some images in it, pop some links in it, attach some videos. I'm going to embed a couple videos in it, link out to some other authoritative content. And I've got a valuable piece of indexing content. Listen, I'm ranked on page 1 of Dallas real estate home buying tips with no links. With no link building. Just because it was a 7,000 word blog post. And it was number 4 on Google, and it stayed there for like a year until my friend.
Took it down.
No, he didn't renew the domain name.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and he didn't tell me. So it was down for like 6 months before I even knew about it because I wasn't doing anything with that anymore. Anyway, so let's get down to the end of this. Yes.
I think I heard what you said. You go to your mobile phone and you go to Google and your
Gmail. Yeah.
and you just push the speaker.
Compose. Yeah. When you push compose down the bottom left of the keyboard, there's a little microphone.
Yeah.
Push that and hold it.
It's just like doing a verbal text, right?
That's it. Except it's already transcribed. I love it so much. It's changed my life.
Right.
Changed my life. I've probably written.
No, I mean, I think
50
people
blog
blogs
posts.
all the time when driving or something.
Another thing is just ideas. I wrote half of this on the road. I was on the road for appointments yesterday, and I started thinking about it. I was like, let's go this different. I was going to go plan your content for the year. I was going to talk about some subjects for the year and stuff. I was like, what? Let's just let all this whole strategy out. Because this is something somebody would pay me on consulting for. But I like to give that kind of stuff away because other people have done that for me. That's how I got to where I am. So, so index is all about indexing. Everything is about indexing. Index. I can't say that 5 times fast. Is that it? Yeah. So the last, there was supposed to be a slide at the beginning that says mobile. Because, again, you get back to this thing of if it's not good on mobile, it's not good anywhere. And Google made the big change last year. They're de-indexing your mobile rankings. Now, you'll still have your desktop ranking, but you will not have your mobile ranking. So that's really important. It's huge. And you're going to get some hit points against you, especially if you're doing AdWords. If you're doing AdWords today and your site is not mobile optimized, stop doing AdWords because you're wasting money. You're wasting money. A little known fact, in any ad spending campaign, their number one goal is not that you get the advertising you want. It's that you spend that budget. Because if you don't spend that budget, then you're going to lower your budget the next month. So understanding this, you have to understand how it works. If you don't get much exposure for the first 3 weeks, that's last week, Google's going to open up the funnel. They're going to give you exposure on every single site on the world that they can to get anybody to click it so that they use up that budget. But that's an artificial number. That may sound like, oh yeah, I get all this. Yeah. If you're doing pizza delivery, they're going to give you sites on crocheting. Nobody's going to buy pizza on a crochet site unless they're high. They might buy pizza then. But the point is, your relevancy is going to go way down because you're going to lose it. So your numbers that you're going to get back are not going to be clean. So that what I'm arguing for is being mobile optimized. Okay. So if you're using AdWords, you definitely need to be mobile optimized. Any final questions? Yes.
So you were talking about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I only have one company that I'm working on this with, and that's my company.
Okay.
So I have, like, my tier 1 obviously would be our website.
Mm-hmm.
What do you suggest I do for tier 2 and tier 3 blogs?
Well, you can use the same blog platforms that I told you about for tier 2 and tier 3. You just have to make sure. So you know a couple of rules. Don't ever link from one of those blog sites to the other one. So let's call blogs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are tier 2. Blog 1 doesn't link to any of the other 4. Blog 2 does not link to any of the other 4. None of them link to each other. Here's why. If Google changes the rules in the future, which I believe is done, I don't believe any major changes are coming. They've already made a major shift to content first. So as long as you obey the rules that are in place now, generally speaking, I don't think you're ever going to get slapped again. You may have some minor resets that may cost you some minor rankings that you can easily recover from, but I don't think there's ever coming a day like where you have a whole site losses. Oversight.com had completely relaunched. They had completely relaunched that entire e-commerce site.
Overstock?
That's why they have O.co. So, tier 1 is your money site. There's only one of them. Tier 2, 5 blogs about your 5 keywords, whatever it is. I put all 5 of my keywords on every one of the blogs. I just use different domain names for the blogs, obviously.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, so I would just set up 2 other blogs for those that are not part of the e-commerce site.
You have an e-commerce site?
Well, not really. It's an informative site, more or less.
Okay. Well, yeah, so then tier 2 is those 5 blogs. On tier 3, you're not being as careful about what you're going to do, just trying to throw stuff up there. So that you can use the same platform, you just don't use the same domain. You don't link to them. You don't link. You can link from tier 3s up to tier 2s, but never link from tier 3 to tier 1s. Does that make sense?
I guess so, but I'm just trying to figure out why you even have a 2 and a 3 if you're not linking back to the main site.
The tier 2 you do. Once they're indexed and you know that Google's treating them right and they like them, then you can softly link. I use one link at a time just to see how Google's going to treat it. And I silo that. I'm looking at, I'm only linking to one page, and then I'm going to see how Google's treating that keyword. Then eventually I'm going to link to the home page and eventually start waking that up and put more stuff out there. But you don't want to overnight link a lot of stuff because that's extreme.
Right.
You want it to look real nice and natural.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're producing a lot of content, you can shoot a lot of links. The mistake people make is they produce little content and they shoot a lot of links. They try to pack more and more links into little content.
So my goal was always just to do as much content as I can on the main site.
That's a nice goal, but you're not going to get links out of it. You're trying to buy links by putting the content on there. trying to get people to link to you just naturally, that's hard to do. So if you go out and build out your own tier 2 sites.
You're getting incoming links from those other blogs, that's, because you unformalize that. Okay. I
Oh,
understand.
yeah. So if I can go out there and I can form a blog, like the video you found, sure it's on page 4, but it's ranked.
Right.
Google sees it as relevant somewhere. So those videos are valuable. So if I attach that to a tier 2 blog post, that boosts that blog post a little bit. I've got some of my blog posts are on page 2 now. So they're almost on page 1. That's pretty relevant. You know, some major companies are on page 2. So now if I can take that and turn and link, I just started this like 3 months ago. So now if I can take it and turn and link that to page 2, tier 1, hopefully I've got something there.
Got it.
Yeah. Anybody else? I know we have to be super long. What time is it?
117.
What?
117.
Why is that too bad? It's not good. It's not too good.
I guess I could look at your blog post to see this, answer this question, but when you're writing really just based on what other people have been, influencers have been saying, you just put quotes around what they say and then you just link to them?
Yeah.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah. Or I might say this article by Chip Davies. I might say this article by Steve Jobs, whatever. Yeah. So it depends on how you link it. I mean, textual links are big. So linking on the subject, the keywords and stuff. But you have to be careful with that. Think about anything anybody's ever experienced. Don't do that. Or if you do it, make sure it's natural. There's and this is, I mean, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. It's the tip of this one part of the iceberg. It's way on the top. It's just the tip of that part. There's a lot that you have to pay attention to. Best thing to do is link out other people's stuff. Yeah, because if you link out the authoritative content, you cannot get hurt for that. Unless you just send too much, like 1,000 links a day or something.
Yeah.
That could be tier 1 linked to somebody else's.
Everything you ever work on, you always want to link to authoritative content. Yeah, that's always a good signal for Google because that tells me you're not trying to spam. I'm trying to do that.
I haven't done PRs in a long time, press releases, and they used to be really big because they would get links.
They still do. You just have to, again, you have to be careful about which site you're using. You can go out and say, like, which black hat PR sites that are being, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'll give you some lists. But again, the best thing to do is talk to a professional because they know those sites inside and out. That's something that, that's like buying, I don't know, insurance or the best route not to get robbed.
Well, and they're expensive.
That can destroy everything.
It's like $100 each one.
Sure, but there's writing press releases and hosting on your website, and there's producing press releases on PR, flyer, and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, they are expensive. Those kind you want to another way to do it. I've seen it done before. Is just so you write a press release, obeying all the standards of press release, and then you put it on the page of your website, on a WordPress site, it's really easy to do. Then you can, you actually put the term press release on Twitter and then link to it. Press release. We just want that in Twitter.
Because when you go into like PR Wire or whatever, it tells you you need to take away one of your links, you break one of the rules.
Sure.
So it's really easy to,
Yeah.
or at least for the most part, they'll tell you to break the rules. Or they
Right.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah. Well, because so many people spam them.
Yeah.
I remember back like 07 was one of the first seminars I went to for SEO. And the guy's like, yeah, just use PR Wire, man. You can spend the day like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, they've been through it.
I know that it's not a guarantee. You'll never.
Oh yeah.
It's really easy.
It's all about preponderance. Don't ever think about one. I had a guy, he went to like 3 of my workshops. And he's like, hold on. You said in the first workshop I went to, you said do this. And the second one I went to, you said do this. And the third one, you said do this. I was like, look, man, you're trying to find the magic bullet.
Right,
The magic bullet doesn't exist.
right.
This is about moving earth, not shooting a gun. It is. If you think about what you're trying to do, you're trying to build something. You don't build a house by shooting a gun, right? And we're all looking for that one, if I just find this one thing, that'll fix all my problems. There's nothing like that in the search board. It's all about producing crap all the time.
Well, when I first started, web position gold was the bullet.
Say it again.
Web position gold It would just do all the SEO on your site, and it would take days and days and days. But it was terrible, but they figured it out. That's like 15 years.
Connect with them on Twitter, like journalists, like they like that.
Yeah. That'll get exposure to your content.
What's that?
If you like tweet at them, or at least just maybe not just spam them, but like just be like, following them and then like retweeting them and stuff like that. Just get your name or their heads.
The
over time.
influencers?
The influencers.
Oh,
What he's talking about specifically about news people. The thing you have to be careful about with them is not always coming to them wanting something from them. So that they will shut you down on that. You want to share their stuff, ask questions about the stuff they put out, go read it, and read something about what they put out, and go, hey, I thought this was interesting, and put that out on Twitter. Because number one, nobody reads their stuff, they just retweet it. And they'll go, yeah, you retweeted me, thanks. I know, you're just going to ask me something one day. You're going to ask me for something one day. And sure enough, here you are asking me for nothing.
Oh, right.
Retweet, get in conversations with them about it. Find people you like, And when they got those big Twitter accounts, they'll retweet you one day and that'll kick your Twitter followers up.
Like being on Oprah, like
Yeah.
Oprah's book club.
Yeah. All right, anybody else? All right. Thank y'all for staying late.
Thank you.
Didn't anybody like?
Awesome. Swag.
What is the name of the guy